Hey guys, this is Rob Shoecraft with 3 Storm Fitness. This is probably going to be a pretty long video. I'm sure it'll go over 10 minutes. I'm sure you're laughing right now because you see that it says 10 seconds out of 30 minutes on there, but I'm going to try to keep it as short as possible. I'm talking about, and by the way, in the description, I'm going to make I'll try to do a couple timestamps to tell you where I talk about the cons versus the pros and the pricing and all that stuff. Maybe the table, I'll make a little table of contents in the description. If you don't see it yet, you're probably watching this in the first day that it's out. I will get that in eventually. So go check the description if you want to jump around a little bit. Okay, so I'm talking about an app called Trainerize. Or technically, it's not an app. Well, it is an app. The app's part of the package. It is, what do they call it? Trainerize is an online personal training platform. Is what is from the Trainerize website. That's what it is. It's an online personal training platform. Online meaning kind of dual meaning there. First of all, it's all cloud-based. It's everything's stored in the cloud, and I'll talk about why that is sort of a con to an extent, but we'll get there. But it's also catered toward folks who are online personal trainers, folks who are training people remotely from across the world, whatever. I haven't really done, I've done that. I have done that with the Trainerize app. I have about 5 folks who I have gone through, I guess we'll just call it a beta online personal training. And some that are still paying me to do that. It's not my favorite way to train people, but I'm still learning. I know there is a way to do it properly. I could have a whole other video or for 45 minutes I talk about why I think it's a bad idea and a good idea, and why I think a lot of people suck at it and are great at it. But just know that it's on my radar, and I will probably switch to online personal training. Not switch to, but include online personal training in my offering at some point. Just know that I have used this app for online personal training as it is kind of originally intended. However, the bulk of the way I use Trainerize is for my local clients, folks that I'm training in person. I might have mentioned it before. When I train people, at least currently, I prefer to have sessions where I have up to 4 people at a time. And so it kind of gives that group atmosphere. You get all the benefits of the group. But because it's only 4 people, I can still give some personal attention. So it's not like your typical group class where everybody's doing the same thing. What it usually is somebody based on their fitness level, their goals, their injury history, what they're capable of doing, how often they're coming, et cetera, all those factors play into it. I will design a custom program for them to tailor to their needs. And while there are 4 people in the gym at the same time and I'm running around helping everybody, they're all pretty much doing different things. So that might sound like a total mess for someone. It does take a little bit of getting adjusted to. I have a lot of retail experience, so I'm used to handling people and anyways, help desk experience and whatnot, so helping multiple people at once all the time. Regardless of that, what really makes it possible for me to do it is the Trainerize app. It's because I can deliver workouts to people. They pull it up on their phone. They can see what they're going to do. So the folks who have done, especially the folks who have done this particular workout before, or maybe they've been with me for a while, or maybe they're athletes and have done a lot of the exercises before, they can go in and they can see and they know what to do without me necessarily have to be there with them right there, right then to set it up for them. So it kind of allows a little bit of an automated approach to my training, and allows me to train 4 different people doing totally different things at one time. Also allows them to track their progress, which is absolutely huge. Anybody who knows anything about training will tell you, regardless of your goals, you need to track what you're doing, and whatever it is. Progress is key, and when especially when you've been working out for a while, and even those tiny little gains are gains. You need to know what those are. So if you add, say, 5 pounds to your squat, you're going to need to have tracked your previous squat attempts in order to see whether or not you're making progress. So Trainerize allows has a very robust tracking system, and I could pull up and say, maybe I'm having somebody do, we'll just stick with the squat example. Maybe I'm having somebody do goblet squats, and they haven't done goblet squats for, I know, maybe 4 weeks. So we're going to work those back in, and I want to see where they left off last time. I can just quickly pull up what they did last time. Oh, it looks like they got, 12 reps at 60 pounds. So I can see that right off the bat, plug it back in. Everything's good. Tracking is great. Let me talk about some more. I've kind of eased into the pros. Let me just list the pros. First of all, it's super easy. Let me just start off. I shouldn't say start off. It's 5.5 minutes already. But let me just say, I wouldn't say I have a love-hate relationship with Trainerize. I'd say we have a tolerable relationship. It's a lot of things I love about it. I like a lot about it, and several things that drive me absolutely nuts. It's like having like a good roommate. Like, you guys are both benefiting from each other, but there's certainly some things that you would change about them if you could. So that's kind of how I feel about Trainerize. I like them enough to pay for it without question, but there's some stuff that still make me, say the F word here and there when I'm using it. If that tells you anything. Okay, so pros. It's super easy to start. It's extremely intuitive. They have a good tutorial that gets you started. They are always changing things. And I'll talk about this more a little bit. They change things all the time, all sorts of features. There's good and bad to that. They're always trying to make it better. I've tried to make documentation for Trainerize before, like a course, and I gave up after a few weeks because they released a new version that all my screenshots and everything were completely worthless because they changed things a lot. That said, their tutorial's good, and they're ramping up process. All that kind of orientation, new user stuff is pretty solid. It's easy to hop in and just start using it, especially if you have any experience with management software whatsoever, whether it's personal training software or anything. Anything. If you're decent on a computer, you're not going to have a problem with Trainerize. It makes business easier. I already talked about logging for progression. I mentioned it's intuitive. I can have, on the app side, I can have my clients can go in and they can, let's say somebody walks in with kind of their shoulders kind of sore. We see during the warm up that they're having some problems. And I have like military presses on the workout. I'm probably not going to have them do military presses, or we'll do a different variation, maybe change like a neutral grip or whatever the case may be. Who knows? They can go in and they can just sub out their exercise. So they can still track everything, even though the one that I gave them is already delivered. They can still go in and change that. They can sub out on the fly. They can make their own workouts on the fly. They could shave off sets. They can add sets. There's all sorts of different things they can do. They can add little notes to the workout that maybe there's not room to add elsewhere. Like, rather than just saying reps, they could say like, the last one was a real grind, such and such. Use your imagination. The note taking is fantastic, or let's call it note taking. Makes it really easy to deliver workouts. So if I got somebody going on vacation, again, this is made for online personal training. This is made for training people remotely, primarily. I just kind of use it as like a hybrid approach. So this is the bread and butter of the application. Deliver it to their apps. There's all sorts of email notifications they'll get. You can set up automated notifications that'll tell them when they owe money, when they need to step on a scale, when they need to whatever, anything. You could send them happy birthday messages. I mean, there's all sorts of different automated things, and delivering the workouts are also very smooth for the most part, as long as the app is working. Again, I'll talk about that in the cons. But delivery of workouts is great. So if I got somebody going on vacation, or maybe somebody's in a meeting in 2 hours from here, and they're not going to be able to make the workout, but they still want to work out when they get home, they'll let me know. I'll grab one of my workouts that I've already made, or make a new one for them, whatever. Deliver it to them. It gets on their calendar. I can make any instructions I want to put on there. There's videos and everything they could use to follow along. You can use any video you want. They have a huge host of videos already in-house, like hundreds and hundreds of exercises. But I got a mixture of like YouTube videos that I'll go in and say, if it's something really random. What's one I did recently? I don't want to spend too much time thinking about this, but it was like wide stance, 14-inch box squat with a 5-second eccentric, and just a bunch of crap like that. you can put that in and make a whole new exercise for that. If you have a video, you can plug that in. You can say whether or not, basically anything, any element of the exercise you can possibly think of, you could build it into the workout itself. So you have tons of flexibility there. You can incorporate rest times and circuits and supersets and all that stuff. I mean, you can go nuts with it. There's a couple extra little things I'd like to see, but it very, very, very rarely comes up. I can't even think of what they are, but I'll get to that in a minute. I know I keep saying that. I talked about all the tracking. Yeah, they can track measurements. They can track. Let's talk about automation. So you can have consultation forms. You can make custom consultation forms. You can make notes on your clients that you don't necessarily want them to see, not because it's bad or whatever. Just, you could say, like I have some people say, left shoulder mobility is worse than right, or talk about asymmetries, talk about restrictions, talk about whether or not they have rounded shoulders or postural issues, whatever. You can put that in there on their dashboard. You can automate with Skype, automate with emails, obviously, phone, Facebook. There's all sorts of just ways to track your client's information and access them easily. It has its own built-in messaging service, which is actually kind of nice. It has its flaws, but it's getting better. Sometimes it just won't. I'll miss notifications. That could be my phone's fault. I don't know. But the message, the in-app messaging isn't bad. It's not too bad. It's not great, but it's a little clunky, but it's not bad. I use it sometimes. If you have your clients use like liability waivers, which you should, or like if you have them fill out like a Part Q form, like workout readiness forms, anything that you might want to add that can come in the form of a PDF. I usually just print them off for my clients. But if I'm training somebody remotely, I have done this before where I could include in the enrollment process when somebody signs up, they get a digital signature style liability form to sign in a Part Q form, and it comes back to me. So that's a nice little feature that's built in. Same with payments, although I do my payments independently. So many different plugs. You have MyFitnessPal plugin, so I could see like if somebody has a MyFitnessPal program, they could link it to Trainerize, and I could see what they need to be eating, that sort of thing. I don't really get into meal plans too much, but it's good to see that if somebody's sticking to something. And they're saying, especially if they have like weight loss goals or something like that, body count goals, it's nice to see what their adherence is looking like. So you can do that. Links to services like Evolution Nutrition, Fitbit. I can see, I'll get something that comes up, say what the resting heart rate is or what their heart rate was for a certain day. All that builds into it. Tons of different services. MailChimp, Aweber, things like that. So if you have like a real sophisticated email marketing program, you can link all that in, plug it all into Trainerize. And of course, Zapier, Zapier, if you're not familiar with that, or if you are familiar with that, it works really well with Trainerize, which basically sky's the limit. You can set up all sorts of different triggers for just about any event that happens in Trainerize. Client completes a workout, client does a streak for a workout, client misses a workout. If that happens, then do any number of these things, and you can plug it in, sync that with all sorts of different apps. That's more of a feature of Zapier, so I won't get too much into that, but just know that Trainerize works well with that. They also work well with MindBody. I don't have MindBody. It's a little too expensive for what basically its features they're too big for me right now. I don't have any need for it. I've thought about getting it, but I don't have a need for it. But I've heard good things from people that MindBody integrates very well with Trainerize. It's like they go very well together. Of all the software integration that Trainerize plays nicely with, MindBody is one of the oldest and probably one of the most polished as a result. So if you use MindBody, Trainerize might be a great way to do that. The customer service is responsive. They're very responsive and they're very helpful. I have had a couple problems where they're fine. They're fine. They're adequate. Customer service is kind of a funny thing where you can have very poor customer service, which is not Trainerize. They are good. As far as comparatively to other software companies, they're fantastic. But there's been a couple times where I just haven't gotten really the answer I wanted, and it was kind of like, well, that's what it is. Like, when you ask for a question and they Google, I can't even remember the exact time, but you ask a question, and then they basically just give you like what you already Googled, like the most obvious answer, and then they sort of leave you with that. So like they're very pleasant and responsive, but not always extremely thorough. Whatever though, the customer service, I can't really complain too much about it. And I'm going to talk about customer service and development and things like that in just a second to really kind of grow that topic, talk a little bit more about it. Like I said, you can build any workout you want. You could use templates. So if I build a workout for somebody, I was talking about this with a person who I'm thinking about hiring as a trainer. I was talking about them with this yesterday, and it's cool because, which by the way, you can have multiple trainers in. So I can assign multiple clients to different trainers, different locations, depending on the pricing you get on the packaging. I'll talk about that. So you can have, again, multiple clients at multiple locations and multiple trainers at respectively, as you can really manage a team kind of nicely in there. They also have like groups and things like that. So if you have I have like a Gallia County group, that's where I live, where all my local clients, if I have something that I need to say specifically to Gallia County, I could say it to them in like a chat format, and they could chime in. So, you could always use something like Facebook for that, or email, whatever, but it's another option that you have through Trainerize. And they really seem to be driving that group element in their apps with their new development. So kind of sort of looking forward to that. I don't necessarily use it, but it's nice to see the new features coming out. Again, I will get to more of that in a second. But what I was saying was you can build templates. I build a workout, maybe somebody has very similar goals, very similar fitness level, just similar in general. I could take a individual workout, an individual program, or a whole complete training plan, and I could copy that as I want. I can get it just about as granular as I want to, copying the workout / program / training plan. Basically just think of it as micro and meso cycles. I mean, if you want to look at it like that, and then just individual workouts, you could copy all that to the person, to other clients, and then just go in and tweak accordingly. So that's very nice for automation, for scalability. Has a lot of great things in there. You can manage all the workouts with tags. Their organizational elements I don't think they're quite where I'd like to see them. I'd like to have other options than just tags. However, the tags are pretty robust. I think it's unlimited tags. So let's say you have just kettlebell workouts. You can apply kettlebell to all those specific workouts and search for them, or if it's like shoulder friendly workouts or whatever tag, use your imagination. You can organize pretty easily that way. You could share certain workouts with, different trainers, with different clients based on what the program is. Very granular management. We'll just say that. Very scalable as well. Let's see, anything else I want to talk about for perks? And there's other pros too. That's just kind of the stuff that I think is really cool about it. Pricing is pretty decent. Like I said, I think it's good enough that I've been using it for 3 years, and I'm still paying. I think I pay somewhere around $60 a month now. Maybe it's closer to 80. 50 client plan, and you basically the more you pay, the cheaper it is per client. So you're paying anywhere from like $5 a client on the low end, all the way to like 90 cents a client for like the $180 plan. But there's also an unlimited client plan of $270 a month. But I mean, think about who would need that. That's a good problem to have, I guess. So I think I pay about $1.62 a client is what it works out to now. Pretty fair considering everything that I get from it. I don't have a problem paying that. I think it's a pretty fair price, but that's up to you. Like I said, they have a free trial. You could train one client on the free trial. What I did was basically made a dummy account, and I just played with that. I think actually what I did end up doing was just training myself, logging my own workouts in it, and just getting used to it and decided whether or not I really wanted to pay for it. But the free trial essentially lasts forever with if you consider that you get one client forever. At least I don't think that runs out. I'm pretty sure it doesn't. But the free trial gives you like 5 clients, or I think that's what it was for me when I started 3 years ago. It might have changed, but it's worth trying out. It's pretty easy. I'll put a link to below, and I'll probably make it I don't know if it's technically an affiliate link, but I think if you sign up on that link, I get like a free month, or I get a discount on my plan or something like that. So, that'd be cool. But if not, no worries. Let's talk about the cons. All the cons are kind of like rolled into one general area for me, and that is let's just say when you're working in Trainerize, there's the desktop, basically your computer, the full version that you would access from your laptop or your desktop. That back end is very nice. It's not perfect, but it's pretty darn nice. I don't have a lot of complaints about it. Everything works just about the way it's supposed to. The app is so freaking buggy. It drives me insane sometimes. And it seems like it is buggy from iteration to iteration. So I may have a problem building the workouts in there, and then my clients will have a problem with it crashing on them all the time. And then they'll release a version that fixes all that, and then they'll come out with something a few weeks later that just breaks it all again. It's the whole same old song with software that you've heard forever. Well, Trainerize is no different when it comes to that on their apps. The apps, they're just buggy. Now, one of the good things about that, sort of, is because the reason they're buggy is because they seem to have a very responsive development team. So if you want to see a feature, and they want to hear from you, like they ask all the time, hey, are there features that you want to see? And you go in and there's like a Reddit type feel where you can vote. You can submit a feature request and then people will vote on it. And they'll take that. The development team is like right there talking to you, and they'll take those ideas and they'll start working on them. And that's how a lot of the great benefits from Trainerize have come about. But we'll just call these growing pains, because in order to do all that, I don't want to say they don't have a beta environment or like a testing environment, because I'm sure any development team worth their salt is going to have that sort of thing. But I think sometimes things get released a little prematurely. And like the current version, I don't know what it is, but the one that I'm using on my Android right now is a nightmare. I got to go in and I got to clear my data, and basically clear my data on the app almost every time I run it, because it's so sluggish and things crash all the time. And you have to have an internet connection, at least at the time of this video. As far as I can tell, you have to have an internet connection in order to track your stuff. So there's syncing problems sometimes. So we're out in the country. If there's like just a little hiccup in the cellular connection here, it's screwed. Like the app will crash, or the app won't necessarily crash, but basically everything they saved. There's like some recovery functions that are starting to be built in, but they don't always work. So clients will have to go in and like re-enter all their crap again. And it's just a pain in the butt. I really wish they'd make things more stable, even if it's at the expense of not growing features as quickly. So Trainerize, if you're watching this, I really do like your app. Obviously, I spent enough money on it, and I've used it exhaustively, but just app stability. On the app side, it needs to be more stable, less buggy, kind of more of the same. And there needs to be some sort of more dependable syncing solution, especially in more rural areas, which I know it's a minority. Most people have an always-on internet connection. But even still, I still hear complaints from those folks where some sort of blip. It just doesn't have a lot of redundancy. It doesn't seem to, anyways. But it's just very buggy. So there's some nice things about the app. Like if you pay a one-time fee of $99, you basically make your own app. You can brand it with your own company and everything, and you get a lot of cool features that way. A lot of neat things about the app. A lot of great things. When I sign somebody up, a new client for the first time, and I'm showing them how to track their workouts, they're blown away. They love it. But then like a week later, when they're using it, they're like, like this thing just crashed on me. I'm like, yeah. hopefully they'll fix that in the next release. Just stay with those updates, or don't, because the next one might break it even worse, So lots and lots of pros, very few cons, but the cons are, if you're the type of person who's going to scream out, con, that was a weak Star Trek joke, but it's too late now. If you're the kind of person who just gets absolutely driven mad from crashing apps, and that just ruins everything for you, you may want to look into something else. If you're willing to kind of roll with it and watch this, it's a relatively young company, relatively young industry, online personal training. If you're willing to just kind of sit and grow with it, be a little bit patient and try to just embrace the pros while you wait for the cons to work themselves out, that's sort of the approach I'm taking, then it's a great little investment. Like I said, as I get into more of the exclusive online personal training, which I may or may not, but I think I probably will. I'm trying to, like I said, fine-tune that process. I'm going to be relying on Trainerize a lot more, and I'll have a lot more insight. And if it's worth a second review or some more information, maybe I find something that I just can't hold in anymore, I'll definitely share it with you. Despite this being a 26-minute video thus far, there's still a lot of stuff I didn't talk about. There's still probably some things I might have gotten wrong. Sometimes I just run through sentences and forget what I'm saying. So, let me know if there's another question you have or a correction or something else you want to see. By the time you watch this video, they might have completely changed things and fixed everything that I've already talked about. So, there's that, good and bad. Guys, I'm Rob Shoecraft for 3 Storm Fitness. If you have any questions about training, you have questions about product reviews, whatnot, subscribe to my video, let me know, thumbs up, have a great day, you're so special, and you're beautiful, and